Hello, beautiful people. I am so excited, more than excited to share this episode with you. I'm like squealing inside. This one is extremely special. And before we begin, I want you to really understand how huge this moment is for me. This incredible guest has been interviewed by none other than Oprah Winfrey, one of my faves, Brene Brown, Dr. Gabor Mate, Jay Shetty, Steve Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, loving that at the moment, Mel Robbins, and the list goes on and on. And she is who I've been certified with to become a conscious parenting coach. So who is it, you ask? It's none other than Dr. Shefali. She is a New York Times best-selling author many times over, world-renowned clinical psychologist, and the pioneer of conscious parenting. So her work has completely changed the way we understand children, behaviour, and most importantly, ourselves as parents. And her teachers are actually really woven through everything I share inside Parenting Collective. And the timing is perfect because Dr. Shefali is coming to Australia. I'm going to go and see her and give her a big hug in Sydney, so Sydney and Melbourne in March, which makes this conversation feel even more powerful and timely here in Australia. So here is the incredible Dr. Shefali. Hope you love it just as much as we did. Hello, Dr. Shefali, and welcome to the Parenting Collective podcast.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so genuinely grateful and honoured to have you here today because, as we just discussed, I completed the Conscious Parenting certification through your institute in cohort 10, which I was thinking, I can't even remember, I think it's 2 years ago. You and your work has deeply shaped the way that I have supported not only my family, but all the families around the world that I work with. People that listen along know that I'm obsessed with sleep and mental health and all of those things, but conscious parenting is my new passion. So to sit here with you, woman to woman, mother to mother, feels really incredibly special. So thank you.
Oh my God, thank you. And I know you really have learned so much from the Coaching Institute, and I see it in your work. And for anyone listening who's curious to become a coach and they contact you, I will give them a $500 discount.
Oh, well, thank you. That's
for
exciting.
your people, because we have two cohorts every year, as you know.
Two. Mm-hmm.
And they're 5 months each, and they're very intensive, as you know, and
Yes, they are.
hands-on. And they really teach you how to be a coach for yourself, how to become a conscious parent yourself, and then how to do it as a career, as a purpose, as a passion.
Absolutely. And you are, an incredible mentor and teacher. I just learnt, I feel like I've always been someone who has dug deep for the last 30 years to heal and grow and, figure out myself. But this was just such a pivotal, intensive 6 months because the way that you view things in life, I've never come across it before, but it's a very grounded, conscious, aware way of thinking of life. So it is conscious parenting for sure, but it's also conscious living with relationships, families, friends and stuff. It really does change your life.
Yeah, it really does. And the consciousness piece is what is typically missing out of most parenting books or out of most certifications.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that consciousness piece that I teach? It's inspired from Eastern spirituality, which is completely imbued with mindfulness and presence.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching you to not only understand psychology of your child, psychology of yourself, but I'm teaching you mindfulness techniques to manage your children's issues. Whereas a typical psychologist or a typical coach would just do it in a kind of more behavioral way.
Yeah,
but I'm teaching you mindfulness techniques because when you employ mindfulness and consciousness and you raise yourself, you win two ways. One, your life changes, you evolve, but you also manage your child's stressful situations in the most elevated way that allows them to connect and evolve. Right?
Truly.
Most people want to manage children's behaviors so that the problem is fixed.
Yep.
Conscious parenting, what I teach, and I'm coming to Australia, I'm so excited.
I know.
I'm going to be teaching people how to help children to evolve.
Yeah.
We want to not fix their problems. We want to teach them to regulate, to evolve. That's what conscious parenting teaches.
Absolutely. And you know what? I haven't even asked you the question yet, but I will be a bit more specific because you just did explain it absolutely beautifully for myself. I think everybody, but for the people that are listening and have never heard of the term conscious parenting or, that brand new to the conscious parenting, you did just explain that. But in more simple terms, for someone who's never heard of conscious parenting, is there a sentence or a paragraph that you could be very specific with that? Because yes, you did explain that, but I think
Yeah,
people
sure,
don't feel
sure.
like it's a bit permissive or gentle or, all of those things. But yes,
Right,
a bit more direct to
right,
someone who's never heard the words.
right. Conscious parenting is when the parent becomes conscious of how they are continually impacting what they experience with their child.
Hmm.
So it's about raising yourself
Yeah.
as you're raising your child. So whatever you're seeing with your child, the child's tantrum, the child is defiant, the child is disrespectful, the conscious parenting modality, the approach teaches you how to understand how you are interpreting that in a way that actually doesn't serve you or serve
Mm.
them. And the
It's not
way that
working.
you're interpreting them, that moment, is based on your story, is based
Hmm.
on your past.
Yeah.
And the minute you realize that, right, it's liberation because
Oh.
you begin to realize, wow,
Mm.
I was totally going down the hill thinking my child was X and my child was LMNOP is
Hmm.
completely different, but I had no way to, I was convinced they were
Yeah.
X.
Totally.
And when I teach parents this, and I'm sure you've seen this,
Hmm.
the aha, moment occurs, and then the light bulbs go off, and the way they interact with their children, it's a game changer. It's a game
Completely.
changer.
Completely. And like I was saying before we started, why I chose you to do my certification is you are the pioneer and founder of the conscious parenting movement. You have had a PhD and a doctorate at Columbia University as a psychologist. Yes. So lots and lots and lots of training and working in that space. But through the cohort, one of the things that you said is that there was a gap, like you were seeing families and you were seeing things happening. You were like, and with your own daughter, Maya, things were happening as she was growing, and you were like, this is not, A is not working, and Y is not A working, and I'm making her try to do A. But can you sort of reflect on those times where you thought, oh, there's a gap that we need to look at that made you evolve into becoming the pioneer for the movement?
Yeah. So I was studying psychology, doing the textbook work in these ivory tower institutions,
Mm,
and it just wasn't working. Like you
mm,
said, it would work momentarily, and I could kind of fix the behavior, but I
mm,
didn't feel good. I
mm,
felt like I was a control freak. I
mm.
felt like I was power tripping my daughter.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
did not feel good.
No.
So I had to really meditate and look inward. And I developed conscious parenting really out of my own pain
Yeah.
that nothing was working as
Right.
a mom.
Hmm.
And it really came out of my own spiritual awakening.
Right.
So, conscious parenting, and people tell me this when they read my books, is that they feel like it's an inspired work, right? They
Totally.
feel like it like rings with
Light
a
bulb. Yeah.
yeah, with light bulb moment,
Mm, mm.
because it rings with a resonance and a truth that very few approaches can ring.
Very.
And
No.
you and I know it works always. It
Always.
always works.
Always, always, always. And a little
Yeah.
bit of a backstory for our listeners and people that listen to me have heard this before, but hopefully lots of new listeners when they hear this. I have three teenage daughters, or we have three teenage daughters, 20, 18 and 14. Holy moly. You've got one. It's a lot. One's a lot. Um, I listened to a podcast with Maya the other day and I was like, no, because Maya's very strong-willed, very strong-willed. And like you said, say the traditional authoritarian, like, do as I say, why are you not doing that, didn't work. And so you as a human and a mum went, I need to change this. So with the three girls, one was compliant, easygoing, all of that stuff. We thought, oh, parenting, easy peasy. Middle one came out with their middle fingers. Yeah, and so we were like, oh, that's not working. So not until like early teens did we start to see this real defiance, and it destroyed her, it destroyed our family. And long story short, that family counselling, so all together, and that really looking inwards to us, which again, it's not blame and guilt to the parent. It's like, oh, we have those expectations. Oh, we've made her feel like the black sheep. Oh, because we love her. And then that realization. So over the last 5 years and now training with you and now on the other side, and you'd be the same with Maya, so proud, strong, big voices, know what they want, actually are right quite often. And we had to learn to adjust to that. And that's very uncomfortable at times, isn't it?
Yes, and you hit the nail on the head because this approach sounds like that it's always the parent's fault,
But it's
right?
not.
Because
Yeah,
we're asking the parent to look at themselves.
totally.
And then the parent begins to feel guilty and ashamed
Mhm.
and embarrassed and defensive.
Mhm.
But this is not about blame or
It's
guilt.
not.
This is about understanding that you have a lot of power
Mhm.
that you're actually giving away by thinking it's just the child.
Yeah,
Actually, when you see your co creation, you realize, oh my goodness, I can do something. I can do something to change this.
totally.
And this is what conscious parenting does. And this is what I teach.
Oh my gosh, exactly. Because one of the questions that I had for you, and I spoke to my husband about this because he is Aussie, they are real tough men that they've been brought up to not cry. It's hard for them. He's 52. So that generation's really tough because, he's highly successful physiotherapist, has a really great life. So he's thinking, you know, we need to parent like my parents did. So beautiful, him and his soft heart, strong man over these years really had to go against all of his instincts and his generational patterned instincts and against family and people that were saying, you're ruining her. And his question is how could you explain to people listening to this or fathers here in Australia that are lost, their children and their relationship aren't working, they have been brought up with authoritarian, do as I say, and they're in this no man's land where this daughter or child is talking rudely, disrespectful. Where would they start to be able to understand that it's not permissive, it's not giving into the child, it's working with that connection and mentoring for a better relationship? Is that
Well,
sort of
the
too
best
long?
way to begin with parents who are very closed is to remind them of their experience as a
Yeah,
child.
yeah,
So ask them for a painful, traumatic moment or
yeah.
memory from their
Mhm.
childhood.
Yeah.
And they will say, when my father dismissed me, when my mother didn't appreciate me, when
Mhm.
my father rejected me. And you take them back to that moment and you ask them to reflect and
Mhm.
ask them, what do they wish their parent had done?
Yeah,
And then you ask them, are you doing this in your current life?
sure.
Right? Or what would your child wish you would do differently?
Yeah,
And we teach these parents that behavior is always a scream for help, right? So
yeah,
if it's negative behavior, it's a scream
totally.
for help.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what is the inner need? What is
Mhm.
the need beneath the behavior? And this
Sure.
is what parents miss all the time
Yeah, all the
because
time.
parents only go for the behavior.
Yeah, I do.
There is something beneath the behavior. So, if the child is sitting on the couch all day
Mhm.
and we just look at the behavior, we see laziness, unmotivation, procrastination, and a loser.
Yeah.
But if we understand psychology, we understand that this kind of apathy and listlessness has come from repeated shame, has come from repeated
Yep.
rejection.
Yep.
Now, if you understand that, then I teach you how to handle the inner need,
You do.
right? I always talk about what is the inner need.
Mhm.
And if you are not trained to do this, then you're going to miss the inner need.
Oh, it's
And
hard. Yeah.
then the connection, which is the only thing that matters in life.
Mhm.
If you ask any human being on their deathbed, what was the most important thing for you? That person will say, my closest relationships.
Yeah.
What they mean is their connection.
Yeah.
And what kind of connections are valuable? The ones where we feel seen,
Mhm.
where we feel understood at our depth,
Mhm.
where we feel unconditionally accepted. And
Unconditioned,
we
authentic
cannot
self.
yeah, and we cannot do any of this if we don't come to this with a high level of conscious
Mhm.
awareness.
Mhm.
And in my approach, I teach people, I cultivate this, I train them to
Mhm.
have this higher level evolved consciousness.
You do. And I feel like I'm one of your minions. Is that a good thing or a
That's
bad thing?
a great thing.
Yeah. And gives me goosebumps because we were in the depths of such darkness for years and no one understood, in particular, like I said, in Australia. And we had this family counselling, which is what people don't understand. It was good too, because the dynamics of the child seeing our generational patterns and often them softening us because it was so hard and we wanted to fix this behavior. And one time when it was at its worst, so 15-year-old really struggling with anxiety, fight, flight response, but the fight response, which is tough. And then we wanted to keep fixing it and she kept biting. And the counsellors went, you need to let go of the reins. And I get, pardon? Pardon? But what she was saying in a conscious awareness way is and explained, you lead by example. You stay connected when they're very hard to be connected with. So it's us adults with the frontal cortex, which they don't have, children. We have to be it and guide them through it, and understanding the light at the end of the tunnel is connection. The child is strong, independent, and off on their own, which is good, but you have a relationship where they can come back and feel safe. That's the biggest thing about conscious parenting, is being their safety.
Absolutely, because safety, soothing, a feeling of significance, this is what every human wants, to be seen, to be understood. Do I matter?
Yeah.
And they need somebody to believe in them because they don't have that prefrontal cortex yet. So you are their outer nervous system because their internal nervous system is still unregulated. It's
Totally.
it's immature. So in conscious parenting, that's why mindfulness is so important, because in conscious parenting, you are developing your own nervous system skills and you're honing your mindfulness, you're staying calm so that your child can borrow from your nervous system.
Not always
But if
easy.
you don't have a good, but if you don't have a nervous system, well, if your nervous system is shot, if it's fried, then you are going to be dysregulated.
Oh, and this is what happened. Yeah, totally. And this is why with lived experience is that's what happened. I was oversensitized. I was nearly feeling like I was going to have a nervous breakdown. My husband would go to anger because we lost that feeling of control, which again, control's not the right thing to say, is it? It's like mentoring and educating and supporting them through. But if we have done this and it works, then we need to tell the world. And now, I have this platform that I can. And so I work from newborns to 10-year-olds to 18-year-olds. And, we get in early, toddlers' years, then, hopefully one by one we'll change the world. Well, in Australia, we'll definitely be helping to that.
Right. And even if you are listening to this and you're thinking, oh my God, my kid is 21 years old, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
You can begin to change right
100%.
now.
100%.
Like it just takes intention. It takes work, but which side do you want to stand on? Do you want to just find it easy, but then you won't be connected? If you want to be connected, you have to do the difficult work. So where do you want to stand? But no age is too late. Now, of course, there is this invaluable window till they are 17, 18, where they're very plastic and they can be maneuvered and you can be flexible with them. But the relationship can change at any point. At any point, if you become conscious.
Yeah. And with all the learning and continuing to learning to the last day on earth, I would say, I use it with relationships, with friends and parents.
It's yourself.
And, myself. It's mostly myself. That's totally the thing. Motherhood obviously changes us in like nothing else. We know that. So how did becoming a mum to your daughter, Maya, sort of open up you and challenge you in the ways that has shaped your work?
Oh, in every way. She still does, even though she's 22. Because in every way, I now am seasoned enough to be able to pause, to think about it, to try different ways, to pivot. But at every moment, I'm trying to be effective and conscious, right? That's the amazing duo. You want to be effective and you want to be conscious. So because sometimes you can be effective and slap a kid and they could wake up, like they could correct their behavior, but that's not conscious.
No, it's not.
You want to be effective and conscious, right? So you want to be as kind and compassionate, but you have to be effective.
Totally.
So, I have just been transformed at every level to evolve, to notice where I am falling into my habits of fear and anxiety, of wanting to be a people pleaser, not being able to create a boundary. And really, whenever I step up to create a conscious boundary, whenever I step up to enter unconditional acceptance, it always works. So the missing piece is really my alignment. And when I'm not aligned, then I will not be able to do this well. And I tell this to all parents, you want your child to be an adult. You want your child to, be resilient, but you don't let them make any mistakes.
I know. And it's getting worse. We're getting worse. Yeah.
And every time they make a mistake, you're screaming at them. But yet it is only by falling hard that they can develop the skills to stand up higher.
Totally. And it's hard as a parent to allow that to happen. I think that it comes back to us conscious awareness of what we're feeling and having the girls that they're driving and going out and traveling. It's like, I have to consciously allow the universe, it's going to be fine, but it's consciously not putting the lid on that and letting them learn and live, but come back to me.
Yeah, and of course, of course, we don't
Mm.
let them run out into the street,
No, totally not.
but we look at those hard knocks as a powerful force in our
Yes.
children's lives.
Yeah,
So
totally.
yes, we can try to help them. Yes, we can try to protect them. But when the hard knocks happen, which they will,
No, totally.
no matter how much we protect our children,
Yeah.
when they happen and your child is crying and cannot breathe and they're heartbroken because they got their first rejection, or
Mm.
they didn't get into the school they wanted, or they didn't get the job, look at those moments as, these are building my child's muscles of
Totally.
resilience.
Yeah.
As much as you want to scream
Oh my gosh,
and you
yes.
want to fix everything, you have to say, this is protecting my child.
Totally. And, for me, again, lived experience, and I talk about this a lot. Our eldest had a really tough time and was suicidal and, really awful, that journey. But a lot of it, even when we were at hospital, I would just say that. I would just say, this is happening for a reason. It has to be, she's okay, she's here. So if we've gone through the toughest times and thankfully she's still here, and this conscious awareness of like, to be that down and so thankful that she's here, to really believe in conscious parenting, that this is okay, we're learning through this. So now, we're doing interviews and she's helping people. And so I'm not wanting or wishing that for anyone. That was really terrible. But on any times that you feel that are challenging with your children, exactly that, Dr. Shefali is like sitting there, surrendering to it a bit and thinking, okay, this is a lesson. We need to have, and we'd have to go on about it to them, but be that strong sort of mentor for them and then talk through it as they get a bit better. And so on the other side of that, that's exactly what's happened. She can talk openly. I'm glad it happened when she was at home. And I think the more connected we are as parents consciously, then when the world lets them down, as it will, we can be that soft landing.
Yeah. And all of this takes us managing our own
Totally.
inner fears and our own inner
Absolutely.
anxiety. And
Yeah.
those inner fears and anxieties come from our childhood.
Will
And
do.
that's why I say conscious parenting is raising the self
Mhm.
as much as it is raising our children.
Totally.
Mhm.
And I could speak to you for days, but it's late for you and, to head off. But I am so excited. Well, again, so grateful to have you and one-on-one with you. I'm eternally grateful. I truly am. But to finish off, thrilled to share, as we talked about, that you are coming to Australia in
Yeah.
March, early March,
Yeah.
Sydney and Melbourne. I will be heading to the Sydney. I've got my VIP ticket, so I'll be able to give you a hug. And can't wait, obviously, to see you in person. So for those that are listening, and the more that I'm going to talk about conscious parenting here, what would they expect when they come to some of these events, in a bit of a nutshell?
Yeah, so there's going to be hopefully a lot of real life examples
Mm-hmm.
of what to do and what not to do. And parents will definitely leave extremely inspired
Sure.
and with a whole new perspective
Yeah,
on how they can change their relationship with their children, how they
totally,
can improve it, how they can pivot it, how to see children in a different way.
totally,
And there's never been a parent who's left my talk who at least hasn't been transformed.
totally.
It's another thing if they use the techniques, if they
Sure.
ever can apply them, but they are definitely moved and inspired to think about this in a whole
Totally.
new way.
Totally. And everyone is coming with love. When I think of the toughest times, it's it's love and fear. So it's like everyone would come to your show for the love of their child, like even if things are struggling at home. But the thing is for you, and again, it was in the show notes before, and it will be underneath the podcast, you have brilliant books. You're a New York bestseller in regards to this way of living, not just as parents, but as yourself, as a relationship. So people to come to these events will be spectacular to see you live, but you have incredible books, literally, like it's called the Parenting Map. Can't remember what it's called because I've got it ear tagged. But literally a map of like, how do we implement this in our life?
Yes, yes. I've written 7 books, writing 2 more, which are going to come out next year. And actually, I'll be talking about those 2 books in particular because they focus on raising Gen Z and Alpha children, the children that are right now growing up in the modern tech era,
Fantastic.
and what are the unique issues that we're seeing
Totally.
and how we can combat them as well. So it's going to be focused on conscious parenting. It's going to be focused on new skills and how we can deal with the digital era.
Oh, which everybody needs. So thank you
Yes.
so much again, and I will see you in Sydney, and looking forward to spreading the word.
Thank you. Thank you. And if anyone wants to explore my coaching institute, which Donna has been to, she is one of my coaches, they should hit you up for the 500 coupon.
Yep.
And I hope I see your listeners in Sydney or Melbourne. It's a different experience when you come live. And you are with other parents. It's very moving. It's very transformational.
Absolutely. So yes, and everything will be in the show notes as well. So thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave me a rating and review. I love reading all of your messages, so shoot me a DM over on Instagram. It is parentingcollective.au. I also offer a free 15-minute no obligation phone chat. If you'd like to book one, head over to my website www.parentingcollective.com.au and request one there. So try to remember to be kind to yourself and always know you're doing the best you can every day, no matter what your day is looking like. Until next time, much love.